I got involved with Cru my sophomore year after I transferred here, and I was looking for a campus ministry to get involved in. And so I came to the second meeting of the year, and I went, and I didn't really talk to anybody, and somehow I got plugged in with the girls' Bible study. And so I left, and I thought I'd probably never come back again, but I ended up deciding to go to the sophomore girls' Bible study just once to see how it was. And I met some of my best friends now, a great group of girls who just made this great community for me. And after I went to Bible study, I was sold, and the rest is history.
So my first semester here, I had just transferred from a community college, and I didn't know anybody on campus. So I was trying to find a ministry that I could plug into and meet other people. So I had been looking at different clubs, but I didn't know which one to go to. So one day after class, I was walking inside the Union, and I hear actually worship music in the Norms Lounge. So I stopped by, and Brittany Enriquez is there in the front table, and she's like, "Hey, have you heard about Cru?" And so she told me about Cru, and she told me when you guys met and stuff like that, and she just really encouraged me to come by next week. So I did. I went next Thursday, and I was kind of nervous because, again, I didn't know anybody. So I go there, and the first person I see is Cassidy, which I didn't know, and she goes, "Hey, my name is Cassidy, what's your name?" So she was very excited to see me there, even though she didn't know me. So to me, that meant a lot. That meant that somebody cared. And so I kept going, and that was probably the best decision I have ever made, because I met a lot of people, and eventually people that I could trust and learn how to love. So my first year was just about meeting new people, doing more activities, and just getting closer to the Lord through fellowship. So my favorite memory was definitely Encounter. I went my first year, and I loved it. I almost didn't go because I wasn't sure about spending New Year's away from my family, and I didn't think my parents were going to let me go. But Cassidy convinced me. She told me how wonderful it was, and I decided to go. And to be honest, spending the New Year's praying and just worshiping God was the best decision ever. And I don't regret it at all. I wish I could have gone more times, but that was definitely the best experience of my life. And just being able to experience God's love there through people, and everything that we did was so important for the next year. So I think that was the best memory that I've ever had.
So I think the one major thing that God has been teaching me throughout my college time is that He's faithful. Most of my walk with God has been Him telling me to wait upon Him, and a lot of the time I feel like I've been waiting in silence. And so I think the biggest thing that God has been showing me is that He's faithful and that He's good. There's this quote by Billy Graham that's always stuck with me, and it says that the will of God will never take you outside of where the love of God will sustain you. And I think for me that's something to cling to. When I wasn't sure where God was in my situation, when I thought He had promised me something and He wasn't fulfilling it, the love of God was still there with me. It was there with me in the silence, and even when I was waiting, there was still purpose for me. And so if there's anything I can leave you with, it's that trusting God's sovereignty when it doesn't look like He's there or that He's going to show up, because the love of God will sustain you. If I could leave you with anything, it would be this acronym that I've used throughout my college career, and it's 3 letters. It's K, G, and R. So K is kingdom focused, G is grace empowered, and then R is radically abandoned to the love of Christ. So for K being kingdom focused, keeping a perspective that we were commissioned to share the gospel and to spread God's glory and fame throughout the world and really to our campus. And so when professors and teachers and friends are telling us that the most important thing is that we get a good GPA, just remembering that there's a greater focus for why we're here, and there's a greater purpose for our life. The second one is one that's really important for me, being grace empowered. because a lot of times I can be a very motivated and purpose-driven person, but when I don't meet my expectations, I struggle a lot with failure. And so even though we have this great commission to do this great thing, to share God's glory and fame, we're empowered by grace. So there's going to be days when we don't do well. There's going to be days that we fail that test, or that we aren't pursuing those relationships like we want to. And ultimately, God has given us grace to fail, freedom to fail in that. And the third one is radically abandoned to the love of Christ. And this is the sweetest truth that you can hold on to, that we have a relationship with the author of our stories, with the creator of the universe. And it's easy to be reserved in that, to feel like you're not worthy to be completely loved. But to be radically abandoned to that brings so much freedom. And to know who you are and whose you are just gives you the freedom to use your college career to experience God in new ways and to serve Him in big ways and to be motivated by grace.
So my advice would be to really take advantage of Bible study. Take advantage of that group of girls and that group of guys that Cru has provided for you, and this group of girls who are there to support you and not to judge you and just help you throughout the way. And also take advantage of the Cru staff that we have. They have people that have experienced a lot. They have people that have a close relationship with God that can help you and give you advice. So that's something that has helped me personally. I have grown a lot in my Bible study and just having these girls that I can count on. So for both girls and guys, just really take advantage of these people so you can grow closer to each other and mature at the same time.
This is how we do it.